Sky Blue Fans TV. For the fans, by the fans.
I love that intro. It's brilliant.
Oh, I love it. So, a very good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sky Blue Fans TV. We've lost Myles temporarily somewhere in space, so bear with us. I'm sure he'll come back with us in a minute. That was the apologies for the slight delay in starting, but he is about somewhere and he will appear momentarily, hopefully. We have tonight. We've got Will. Good evening, Will.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We'll talk about the last night's game in just a minute. And we've got from all the way from Canada, we've got Keith. Alberta, how are you, Keith?
I am lovely. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. And we'll
Good
talk
evening.
to you in a bit more detail in a few moments, Keith. If you bear with us. We're going to start tonight, though. 2 defeats, 2 games, 2 defeats. And personally, I think they're 2 games we should have won, really. I think we played well certainly the Leicester game we played well and certainly deserved something out of the game. And we should have won. If we'd gone 2-3-0 up, it would have been out of sight, but we didn't take our chances. Similar last night, although we didn't play as well last night, I don't think, certainly against the League 2 opposition. I thought we weren't quite with it. Some of the passes went astray. But we had a good enough team out there, strong enough team, I thought, to win the game. Unfortunately, we didn't. Again, we didn't take our chances. We ended up getting sucker punched right at the end with 2 late goals, unfortunately, from Wimbledon. It was a bit hard to take, Will, wasn't it? It was very hard to take, considering we were leading for, 86 minutes?
Well, yeah, I kind of expressed my emotions on the minibus, didn't I? I was a bit. To be fair, it was a pretty bang average game, wasn't it? I mean, we got the penalty, and then we had a lot of shots. Was it like 26 shots or something? We just weren't clinical at all. It was
ridiculous amount of shots. Ridiculous amount of shots. Plenty of, we just got the impression went 1-0 up, and I got the impression anyway there's a lot of more goals to come, but it just didn't happen, did it? For whatever reason.
No, I mean,
Seems standard for us, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the game. Did you see the game, Keith, at all, or did you manage to get footage of the game or the goals?
I've seen bits and pieces of the goals and stuff, and obviously the stats. I mean, we seem to be having loads and loads of shots all the time. We just can't put the ball away. Do we need to practice that, I think?
No, and you get punished. Yeah. Unfortunately, you get punished. You do get punished if you don't take chances, and especially in this league, because it's a very competitive league. Do you think you got the team? I mean, Will, the team was quite strong last night, wasn't it? I think it was strong enough.
Oh, yeah.
It should have been good enough to beat Wimbledon, shouldn't it, really?
Yeah, we put out a really, really strong side. And you'd think, looking at the side, that you'd beat Wimbledon. But to be fair, they were actually really good. Like, watching Wimbledon, they had some pretty good play in there. That they were putting up a really good fight. At the start, they had quite a few good chances. And then they gave away a penalty, and it kind of dropped off a bit. And then second half, they came out a whole new team. Like, they came out like they were for the first 20 minutes, and it was like put us under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot more he could. I mean, I thought you got the team. You had to give players, I think, that played or were substitute the previous game and only had half a match. I think they need to have a lot of people like people like Hadji and people like that had to play. I think because they needed game. They need game time, and I thought last night, he just snatched his chances a little bit, didn't he? I thought when he had them, he snatched them and they ended up flying over the bar. That was the problem.
That's right.
Have you been impressed with Hadji apart from that? Apart from the chances he's missed?
Well, Well, yeah, he's electric, and he's like Gyökeres, but I could arguably already say that he's got potential to be better. He seems more physical, and he's also quicker on the ball as well. So I think I was saying to my dad that I'd like to see him in a one up front, but I don't think that's going to happen this season.
No, I don't think so, to be honest. I think he's going to play with the two, whether it's going to be with Sims or whether it's going to be with Godden. Godden got the penalty. It was a penalty. I thought, did you think it was a penalty? I thought it was a Stonewall penalty, to be honest. It was a late tackle.
100%.
Stonewall.
I think he was only saved. I agree. I think he was only saved with a red card because I think the referee deemed it a genuine attempt for the ball, which is only a yellow card. Unfortunately, they've changed the rules slightly, but I think I have seen people sent off for tackles like that. But if the referee deems it a genuine attempt for the ball, then he can get away with a yellow card, which he did, and a penalty. Whereas before you used to be sent off. But and he dispatched it well because he was under a bit of pressure because he missed his last one, didn't he? Gone. Do you remember? He missed his last one, so it was nice for him to score. But I said when we went 1-0 up, I just thought it was just so disappointing that we didn't take any more chances. Keith, you seen the Leicester game as well, didn't you? What did you think of the Leicester game?
I watched the Leicester game. Yeah, I watched the Leicester game. I was gutted again. When we went 1-0 up, I thought, great, we've got a chance here, and then we just sort of, I don't know, all those substitutions in the Leicester game, it turned the game. Whether it was our fault or theirs, I don't know, but it really changed the game. I think Claudio made a good point that when Vardy went off, it changed their attacking perspective, and we just weren't geared up for it. We lost the plot.
Yeah, that's 100%. That is the big difference you notice in that game. Vardy, he wasn't really in it. Like I was saying after the game, I actually forgot he was playing. So when he came off and you saw the changes and
it didn't see much of him at all, to be fair. And it's still disappointing because I thought we should have got someone out of that game really, and I think winning builds confidence as well, and it gets everybody gets a little bit down when you get 2 defeats on the trot. But it is a new team, isn't it? And I suppose you've got to. Keith, you've got to give them a bit of time, haven't you, to gel together?
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. We started badly last year, didn't we? For whatever reason.
Yeah.
If we can turn that around quickly, start Saturday, that'd be brilliant. I'd love to see us get back up in there at least the playoff spots by the end of the season. The potential's there. We've got a decent looking bunch of signings. Do you think
we've got a stronger team or squad than we have from last year? This time last year?
I think so. We relied on O'Hare a lot, and obviously he got injured. Then we were relying on Vic and Hamer. One man doesn't make a team. We need to get gel together as a team, and I think as a balance, if we can get the balance right, I think we can beat anybody.
Yeah, I do. I quite agree. I think personally we've got a stronger team, squad. Sorry, and I think some of the players he's brought in very exciting. We got rid of a lot of dead wood. We had a lot of dead wood last year, sitting around doing nothing, not playing games, earning money, either whether out on loan or whether we're injured. We seem to have got rid of a lot of players like that now, and brought in a bit of quality, I think. And personally, I think we've got a much stronger squad than we have, even though we've lost the first 2 games and it doesn't look good. It will take time for them to gel together. Do you think we've got a stronger squad, Will, than we this time last year?
Yeah, squad wise we do, yeah. But I was just actually thinking, I wanted to go back to Keith was saying about last season, how You know, we lost quite a few and we still ended up in the playoffs. Well,
Yeah.
you think we only got to play, was it like 10 games or something? You know, we didn't win a game until October. So it was,
That's right.
you know,
Yeah.
I said on the mini was yesterday, I was like, you can't be getting. I mean, yeah, I was annoyed we lost, but I don't have, you know, I don't think we're gonna do badly because of 2 games. Like, you know, I thought about last season, and like, anything can happen after last season.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like Ken, you said about getting rid of the Deadwood. I mean, I was saying to Tyler yesterday how you know, the options we had last year. You had lots of Tyler Walker and Waghorn to look to on the bench, and now on the
Yeah.
bench. I mean, I know Bobby Thomas wasn't on the bench, but say he was. You go, oh, we can bring Bobby Thomas on at the back or Jada Silva
Yeah.
on left wing. We've come a long way in one season to be able to have those options that will actually change the game, like, you know,
Yeah.
properly. So having
Mm.
Sims to come on off the bench is mental compared to when we had Tyler Walker. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think we will do really well this season, and no one can base it off 2 games because, you know, you can't tell how good a team is after 2 matches because they haven't had enough time to gel together. And once they do, then we could be either unstoppable or we'll get shot on every week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's just frustrating, but I agree. I mean, I think it's just a matter of time before we click. Because one of these days, all these chances are going to go in. Obviously, we can't keep creating chances like that and missing them like we do, or like we have been. And they've got to go in, and eventually. And the good thing is we're creating chances and we're playing quite well. You know, we're not having much of the ball and stuff like that. And not in the game. We're very much in game. Both them games we're in. Both them games we're winning up until the 86th minute last night, and then 70 odd minutes at Leicester we were winning until it all changed.
Like
So you know,
it's all turned
they
back
can't
on
say
us.
we've not been in games. We have been in games, very much so. But I say, I agree with you, Keith. You got to take your chances or you get punished, don't you? And
oh yeah.
especially in this league. Do you think how do you think the Sky Blues will do this year, Keith? Do you think? Can you see, honestly, us finishing the top 6, or would you go for automatic?
Well, it's a very exciting squad, and I think the sooner we gel, the sooner we'll start to beat teams. The world's our oyster. I think we could finish in automatic playoffs, you know. But I mean, there's some strong teams came down, and with all due respect, you know, Leicester, Leeds, Southampton, they're no mugs, you know.
No. And of course, they've got, if things don't go right for them, they've also got the good thing about having a parachute payments, haven't they? They've got the money to go out and buy new players if they want to. So their budget is a lot higher than ours, certainly for paying wages and stuff like that. I know we spent a bit, but their wage bill will be a lot higher than ours.
Yeah, I mean, I think back to the days when Bobby Gould took over, like sort of in '83, when, you know, the entire team pretty much left.
Right, okay, Keith, let me tell us a little bit about yourself then. Tell us how long you've been supporting the Sky Blues and.
I've been supporting the city since birth, to be honest with you. My dad took me to the first game. He was a Geordie back in 1969. So it was odd games then until I got my first season ticket in 1980, and then for the next sort of 23 years, I've seen ticket holder at Highfield Road for pretty much every step. 2003, moved to Canada, but I don't know, that distance has caused a greater passion. You know, these last few years, especially because of the pandemic, that passion's got more and more, and I'm desperate to get back as often as I can. That's all down to Mr. Credit Card Man, whether he's my friend or not.
And how often have you been over this season? I know you said you come over for the playoff final. Do you get over for league games as well? Quite often?
I've already bought my tickets for the Stoke game in November.
Okay.
So my wife and I will be there for that. After that, it'll be a case of we'll sort of see what I can afford, and failing that, I mean, I sit at home, watch it on TV. Like last weekend, I was up at 5:30 to watch the Leicester game. I'll be up at 5 o'clock to watch the game this Saturday. You know, I mean, that time difference it's a bit of a killer for me getting up early in the morning, but I get up at 3:30 in the morning to go to work, so not the end of the world.
Just remind us of the time difference. What time is it over there now in Canada?
It is almost 1 o'clock, so we're 7 hours behind you.
7 hours behind, right? Okay.
Wow.
And what's the weather like over there? Because I know it's a bit dull here. Well, it wasn't too bad today, to be fair, but we haven't had much sun of late.
Summers here are usually quite good in that it's, I don't know, 20 to 30 degrees. We had a horrible thunderstorm yesterday afternoon, which is typical this time of year. But the winters are entertaining. Let's just say that, you know, and it gets down to minus 30, but you know you've still got to carry on.
Yeah, quite agree. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look at some of the comments that are coming in. Can you see the comments, Will?
Yeah, we'll scroll up quite a bit. So we had everyone saying hello. And we've got Paul from the Isle of Harris in Outer Hebrides. Saw seagulls and otters today. Easier to spot an otter than a sky blue gull. And then give me a second. I think it was mainly people agreeing. And then Victoria, I think Sims, Godden and Wright all have plenty of goals in them. Once they start clicking. Keno Tomo, lots of mental pressure on them Saturday. First home game, full crowd. Big expectations, and people reflecting on Boro games last year and pressure thinking it's a given.
Yeah.
Mark Reed, what's with the early kickoffs? We never do well in them.
Well, you're right there.
Good talking point.
But I think that's mainly because of the TV, unfortunately, that they have the say on the early kickoffs, and we don't have any say on it, I don't think. Obviously, the clubs get money for the contract for the television, and they can change the games and kickoff times to suit themselves. What's your view on the early kickoffs?
Yeah. Well, ever since TV kicked in, football was like 2-3 times a week, but TV's made it 7 days a week now. So it's one of those things. I guess we've got to move with the times. It's like I say, it's awkward for me because I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning at the weekends to watch it. But I've got the rest of the day to myself after that, So
yeah, true. So I don't mind the early kickoff. I mean, we have won a couple, haven't we? I think it's Fulham we won, but we do tend to struggle some with the early kickoff sometimes. But look, it's supposed to be the same for both teams at the end of the day. At least we're at home. We don't have to do any travelling. I know we had an early kickoff first game of the season up in Sunderland. You remember that one, Will? First game of the season, and we had to go to a bit of a trek for a 12 o'clock.
Yeah, that was.
And we managed to get a point there. We drew 1-1, didn't we? A couple of last season, wasn't it? That was.
Yeah. That's why, was it Simon Moore had an absolute stinker again? And I
think it
was that his first stinker, and then was it Millwall away? Was the second one, or was that?
Could have been. Yeah, it was Millwall away when he had a. He had a bit of. Talking to goalkeepers. Well, we bring the subject of goalkeepers up because obviously Ben Wilson didn't play last night for whatever reason. It was his birthday, by the way, so he wasn't even in the squad. So maybe Mike Robbins let him go out and have a drink. Who do you prefer then? Will? Ben Wilson, or do you prefer the new guy, Brad?
That's a bit of a silly question, really. I prefer the Golden Glove winner. Thank you.
Well, okay, fair enough. Well, look, Brad Collins is a good keeper. I mean, all the reports I've heard of him, he's a very good keeper. He was last year, so he's a new lad and he's come in, so you've got to give him a chance. How about you, Keith? You quite impressed with Ben Wilson, I take it. You keep him beyond the sticks, yeah?
Yeah. Ben's doing good. Brad's he's got to settle in, and the defence have got to get used to him. I think they're probably nervous, at the back there. But once they get used to each other, like you say, he's a good goalkeeper. Did well last year. So you don't become a bad goalkeeper overnight, do you? Unless something kicks off.
No, you don't. No, and I can't really. I mean, I don't really blame him. Do you blame him last night, Will, at all for any of them 2 goals? It was more defensive errors. It wasn't picking the marking. Was it really? Especially that goal.
Yeah, the first goal. I mean, I think quite a few people, especially where me and my dad was sat, stood. We think there was a handball for that first goal, but I mean, it doesn't matter. It happened now. So there was dodgy defending anyway. No one was marking the guy that whipped in the ball. And then the second one was just a great goal, to be honest. That was such an odd angle. He had such an odd angle, and he hit it perfectly.
I believe he squeezed it in there. A tight angle, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. It was a brilliant goal. It's hard to save. It's hard to defend. So fair play. Like it was a good goal. And then their keeper, we had that chance right at the end, and he's just tipped it over the bar. I know. Yeah, that's mental. Play. Yeah, it was a pretty entertaining game, to be honest.
Well, yeah, certainly the last 10 minutes or so was anyway. But I say, I personally thought we should have upped the gear, and we should have got that second goal and killed the game off. But the longer a game stays 1-0, the more chance of the team obviously snatching a goal, and that's exactly what happened. Unfortunately, last night they came back, and then that gave them a bit of confidence, and then they went on and got a second goal in stoppage time. There's no way back then, is there? So it was a bit of a sucker punch, and it's a bit hard to take, especially that they've been drawn against Chelsea away now. So we could have been looking forward to going to Stamford Bridge, but it's not to be, unfortunately. But that's football, I suppose. Let's just remind you of the competition we've got going at the moment. It wasn't won last week. Unfortunately, nobody predicted Leicester to beat us 2-1 in our competition. All you have to do is email in and correct score for the match against Leicester. No one had 2-1 Leicester. So it's going to roll over for this Saturday's game against Middlesbrough. All you have to do is email us your correct score prediction, whether it be 2-0 City, 3-0 City, whatever. And put your name on there as well. And then if there's more than one correct entry, they will go in a hat, and then you'll get pulled out. The winner will get pulled out, and then hopefully we'll have a winner on Sunday's show to announce, depending on unless it's a mad score like 5-4 or something and nobody has it, but you never know. That's up to you to predict. It's down to you. Get your predictions in. info@skybluefanstv.com with your name and your prediction, and you've got till about 11:30-ish on Saturday to get your entries in. So if you want to win the new COF shirt in a size of your choice when it arrives, by the way, we haven't got it yet. We have ordered, but the order's not come in yet, obviously, because there's no stock in. But when it does arrive, you will be a winner will be selected, obviously, and we'll get you the shirt, obviously, in your size. So you've got till 11:30 on Saturday morning to get your correct scores in. So it's info@skybluefanstv.com. So still no Myles. I don't know where he is. He's gone to sleep somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's gone.
He's gone off to get some beers, I think.
We have got the Middlesbrough Daniel from the Middlesbrough pod coming on shortly, I believe. But that'll be after 8 o'clock. We're going to have a short break now, though. It's 8 o'clock, so just after 5:08. So we're going to have a short break, ad break, and then we'll be back and we'll be discussing a bit more about the up and coming Middlesbrough game on Saturday. Welcome back to Sky Blue Fans TV. We have Keith Arbeto all the way from Canada with us tonight, and we've got Will Cadden as well. We have got Myles. Well, we did have Myles early on, but we hadn't seen him for a while, so I don't know where he's disappeared to. He's trying to sort himself out technically. We have got the Middlesbrough pod coming on as well to talk about the Middlesbrough game. But let's talk a little bit about the Middlesbrough game then on Saturday. Keith, would you make any? What team would you start with up front, for example? I mean, would you? I know it's difficult at the moment with a lot of new players coming in, but would you start Hadji? Would you start Sims? Would you start Godden? Where would you go up front? Because we're missing all these chances. Who'd you go with?
Well, that'd be interesting to start Sims and Hadji together up front, just for a change. Look, I think let's run with that. If we have somebody strong in behind them, be interesting to see how our new Japanese gentleman gets on. He looks good, bit of speed about him. If we can have somebody running through like that, then sort of terrorise the defences a little bit.
He did. I mean, he looked quite good in pre-season so far. The Japanese lad, he looks quite. I mean, he just going in and out of games. He wasn't in the middle. The Shrewsbury pre-season game, he didn't do a lot, but the game before that, he was outstanding. And MK Dons, he came on and done well. So I suppose it's like anything. It's going to take time for him to settle down and get into the pattern of play, the way we play. And of course, he's got to do a bit of defending. As well. And I know a lot of people were criticising him last night a little bit for not stopping the ball coming over for that second goal. But it's all a learning curve, I think, for him. So I think personally he'll probably start on the bench and they might bring him on. But I think Hamer obviously will be back, hopefully, if he's still here, hopefully. And Faz will be back, and hopefully Bob Thomas. I think Thomas had a little bit of an injury, I believe, in training, so which is why he wasn't even in the squad on Wednesday evening. So, who would you start with, Will, then up front? I mean, we're not scoring. Would you go Hadji? Would you go Godden? Would you go Sims? Or would you someone else?
I'm going to say Hadji and Godden again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the little link up. I think you've got that. I mean, Godden's not as quick as he. Well, he's not really been that quick ever, so I can't say as he's used to be. But he's got that. He's got the experience. He knows what he's doing. Apart from putting it in the back of the net, that big goal. He doesn't know about that. But Hadji, I think they work well together. Their little pass sequences. I like the way it is. I think Sims and Hadji, they've still got a lot of developing to do. So putting them in together for the first home game, it could be good, but I'd prefer either Godden or Sims or Godden or Hadji.
I think you're right, Will. I mean, Godden, he's never been that fast, but he's a thinker. So. You don't need the pace if you're a thinker. You get yourself into a position, and I think that's ideal. Yeah.
I agree with you. To be honest, I'd probably go with them too. And Casey Palmer Casey Palmer for me has been outstanding in pre-season. He's looked really sharp, and he's getting back to full fitness. Obviously, we missed a lot of him last year with injury, and along with O'Hare, obviously. And a fully fit Casey Palmer is going to be a major player for us this year, I think. And he can get involved and get a few goals as well, which will help. I just think Casey is a tremendous player, and hopefully a fully fit Casey Palmer will be on fire on Saturday and hopefully get a few goals against Middlesbrough. I'd bring Faz back. I mean, would you bring Faz back, obviously, for this one, Will?
Yeah, I'd say so. He's experienced enough. He knows what he's doing. I'd bring him into it.
Yeah, and I know Robin said he's obviously not going to play every game, but Bobby Thomas is in there as well. We've got we could probably do with a couple more defenders really brought in. and I think that's happening over the next few days. I believe that they're after a couple of defenders, and there's been talk of various people, Panzo for one, who'd been here before. So there's been talk of him, but I expect to see a couple of. Yeah. So I expect to see at least one defender arrive before the transfer window shuts. And let's talk about Hamer for a little bit. I mean, are you quite confident, Will, now with not long to go before the window shuts, that we can keep Hamer?
I feel like he's already signed the contract, and the club are just milking it and making us suffer for until the last week of the window, where they'll reveal, oh, he signed the contract like 3 weeks ago. So I think he's already done it. So that's probably why
Really?
he
You
laughs
think he's
every
done it
time.
already?
Yeah, that's why he's laughing every time we sing the sign the contract song. He's like, I've done it already. Stop singing.
Well, why don't they announce it then?
Oh, I don't know. Why don't they release the away kit? Why don't they release the third kit? These are all questions that need to be answered.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me, but I mean, I do think he'll stay. Personally, I think the longer it goes on, I've said this before, I think the longer it goes on, the more chance of him staying with us for the rest of the season. Give him what he wants, I think, and we're going to get our money back. I think obviously it's a no-brainer, but it depends how much his head's been turned by other people, I suppose. And
Well, there's another thing as well. If he doesn't sign the contract this window, we've still got the January window for him to either go or he can sign a contract. Because I'm sure by January we'll be able to somehow afford to pay for his wages anyway. So, I think we should be all right, to be fair.
So I'm quite confident he'll stay. How about you, Keith? Do you think he'll be still here, or is he gone?
I honestly don't know. I just wish they'd sort it out. It's unsettling the club and the team. But one way or another, I just want them to sort it all out so we can carry on and move forward.
Yeah. Well, I quite agree. I mean, see, what worries me, I mean, both games, obviously, Hamer's been played against Leicester, bought him off when we were winning, a winning situation. And then obviously the team sort of collapsed a little bit and lost the game against Leicester. That happened again last night. He went off from we were winning, although it was a bit different last night. We threw it away really ourselves. Again, we lost, so we obviously miss him when he's not playing. But we just got to get used to that. You got to have You've got to have players, because if he gets injured, you've got to have players who can come in and replace him, haven't you?
That's what happened last year, isn't it? I mean, we lost Hamer for a spell there, and things went downhill a little bit. But once he came back, and things started turning around again. So yeah, we either need him in the team and fit and playing every game, or we need to get somebody else in to take his place. Yeah.
Well, that's my biggest concern. If he does end up going, have we got someone lined up ready to pounce and get him in straight away? Because we don't want him to go last minute, on the last day of the transfer deadline, and then be left with no one, or possible loans. That's the only thing we can get around it, and that's not going to be good enough for me. You need somebody, if he is going, we need somebody of his quality, if we can get it out there to replace him, and we need that to be in place now. Really, just in case he does decide to go. I personally think he will stay, but it's difficult to say. I mean, we've got a few comments here. Well, I just noticed Sheffield United done some strange business selling one of their better players. Why would you do that? I think they have cash problems, need money. Their moves don't make sense. Yeah, I quite agree. And personally, I don't think he'll go to Sheffield United. I think he can get a bit better club than that. Personally, they could be. I know they're in the Premier League at the moment, but they might be coming straight back down. He might as well stay where he is here. I think Sheffield United would be a bad move for him. Personally,
I'd rather go to Burnley.
Well, yeah, I just can't see any point in going to Sheffield United. That's for Kenneth Tomo. Cov Andy, I think Gus wants back to Holland, but the fee's a problem. see out his contract, go back to Holland on a free. See, that could happen, but whether the club allow that to happen is another matter, isn't it? Because it's a big, massive gamble, isn't it? If the club say, okay, we're not selling you, you're seeing out your contract, and you can leave for nothing. It's a lot of money to turn down, and I can't see that happening, Keith. Can you?
Nah, not in real terms. I think back to like years gone by. I mean, the way some people leave, it just leaves a sour taste in your mouth, and I just hope that doesn't happen again. I'd like to see him stay. Sort of hopeful that he will, but you just can't tell in this game.
No, that's right. I think Mark Reeds just sent a comment. I think Wilcock from QPR would be a good replacement for Gus. Yeah, possibly, but I think Gussie's better than him. A lot better than him.
I wouldn't want Willock.
No, I wouldn't. I think he's playing in a struggling team, Willock, at the moment, and I just think Gussie's a lot better player than he is. Simon Wells, just offer him what he wants. Yeah, I quite agree, Simon. That's what we all want. I'd personally offer him what he wants. It's a no-brainer. I mean, we've got all these sorts of rumours about what he wants, but I believe it's in excess of 20k a week. But if he wants that, then pay him. We'll get our money back. It really is a no-brainer. Luke Carter, I think he's torn, as he loves it at our club, but he's homesick and has talent for a Premier League side. It's hard. It is very hard, Luke. I quite agree. It must be difficult for him. Claudio, if he was desperate to go back to Holland, he'd buy out his contract. Yeah, well, you're probably right there, Claudio. Yeah, I mean, there's all these rumours going around that he's homesick. Well, he doesn't look that homesick to me. When we see him, he's all smiling and but we don't know. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so it's hard for us to know. We can all guess, and that's how the rumours start. But we're all guessing really, because none of us know actually what he wants, whether he is homesick, whether he wants to stay, whether he wants to go. But he seems happy enough. He's still smiling. He's not. I don't think he's walking around miserable, is he? He's still. He's still got a smile on his face when we sing the songs to him. David Granigan, there's no one who could do what he does. Yeah, well, I'm struggling, to be honest. I'm struggling. Is there any players out there, Will, that you would, if Hamer did go, that you would look to replace him with?
There's that. He's brilliant. He plays for Man City. He's called Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah.
That we can afford. That we can afford.
It'd be a very good replace. Realistically,
not in it. Certainly not.
It's really. I'd say Tyler Adams, but then you can't afford him either. I don't know. Yeah, he's too good, isn't he? He's not like. There's not many players, even in our league, that are like him. I don't think there is anyone in our league that's on his level in midfield.
No, you're right.
I mean, I might be mistaken there, but yeah.
I don't think so personally. I'm struggling to think of anybody. Certainly that will be in our wage bracket that we can afford to bring in. Keith, have you got anybody in mind to bring in?
Nah. Like I said, I mean, we've been spoiled, to be fair, haven't we? I mean, like, it cost a bare million sort of thing. To get somebody to replace him is going to cost us an awful lot more. It's going to be a challenge,
Yeah. Yeah, I quite agree. Simon Wells says Sam Smodwick from Blackburn. I don't know. I'm not sure about him, maybe. Don't know. I'm not sure if he's on the same level as Hamer. I don't even know if he's for sale. Richard Barwell would need to get a player with plenty of Premier League experience. I agree, yeah. Got to. Luke Carter, Will's right. When he's the best. Okay, position in the Championship. Who else is there? You're right, yes. Well, I quite agree. Well, I can't disagree with you because I haven't got anybody else to say that can come in and replace him because there isn't anybody as far as I can see.
No, I mean
that we can afford.
You get someone alongside him, but I don't Like you're never gonna get you're never gonna
No,
say you
not
sub off
what he does. Yeah,
say you sub off Hamer, you're not gonna be able to bring on someone that's gonna change it like to be better than him.
no,
It's either you take Sheaf off and it's someone that's just nearly as good as him, not as good. So like
no, that's good.
it's difficult because you've got Kelly's on the bench sometimes, and I mean you can't even compare him to Hamer. He's nothing like it. He moves like a
No,
truck.
and Kelly, to
Like,
be fair to Kelly, he's not going to probably play every game this season. He's going to be there, going to play a few games in and out, I think. But
I
he's going
think
to be there.
yeah, he's not going to be as like much as he was towards the end of last season, but he's going to be involved in games against. You could probably guess like QPR or Rotherham or someone like that. He'd probably play against them. But in terms of actually having someone to replace Hamer, if he goes, which most people are talking like he already has gone, but I'm just sitting there. Claudio's put Matt Grimes from Swansea.
Yeah.
Like, see, as a COV fan, you're going to hear about Hamer all the time, but when you see it on Sky and on social media, and all they're talking about is Hamer, and you don't hear about anyone else. That shows what kind of player you've got, because you can't, they don't talk about Matt Grimes every week, do they? They talk about Hamer.
Yeah,
because that's the guy everyone wants, and that's the guy everyone's like, whoa, Coventry have that player, we want him. That's what they were like with Gyökeres.
Even the Leicester manager to come out and said he's the best midfielder in the Championship, didn't he?
I mean, we can't even be biased because it is true. So
yeah. How about Reece says Tom Davis from Everton just been released. Wages may be a problem. Tom Davis, I've seen him a few times playing for Everton. Decent player. I don't know.
What is he?
No. What do you think, Keith? Tom Davis.
He's an option. Yeah, he's an option, isn't he? It's going to be a different style of play, isn't it? I think if we lose Hamer, we're going to have to sort of, dare I say, rebuild the team. So I think have a different style of play going forward. It's really hard to pick somebody. But I mean, the Everton guy, he wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, he's quite a decent player, Tom Davis, from what I've seen. But whether he would fit in our type of player, I'm not so sure. But need someone like midfield like Doyle. Yeah, you're right. Like a Michael Doyle, don't we? We're missing him. If only there's a Michael Doyle out there, go and get him, I'd say. But very few and far between Michael Doyle sort of type of players, aren't they? We were lucky we got him, and he was excellent for us. He's outstanding for us. I don't see many players like that about at the minute that we can go and get. Say apart from the few that we've mentioned here. Reece has come back and saying Palmer and O'Hare could fill a void. Eccles and She sitting in midfield. Yeah, that's a possibility. A fully fit Palmer, yes. And O'Hare, we don't. It's nice to see O'Hare. We're going to talk about O'Hare now for a little minute. We've seen him back on the grass, Will. Can't wait to get him back on the pitch. We just don't know how long it's going to be, do we? But it's nice to see him back on the grass, isn't it?
I think isn't it till
we
September,
reckon
maybe.
September, we've been told.
Like
some people have been saying November, and then other people are saying no, it's going to be quicker than that. So we don't know what to believe, but I'd say
we might see him on the bench towards the end of August, but I don't know. I think September is like end of September.
That'd be like a new signing, wouldn't it? If he came back, be brilliant. But he's going to take a few games to get into it. Keith, how do you think O'Hare? We obviously missed him last year. We're doing really well without him, to be fair, second half of the season. But just imagine if he was playing, we could have got them extra points, couldn't we? And probably got up automatically.
Maybe that's part of the thought process that O'Hare will replace Gus in some way. Again, but he's a different style of player, isn't he? But it's nice to have that sort of pace and going through the middle with a bit of flair, So he'd add another aspect to us. Maybe I'll see him when I come back in November.
Well, hopefully, mate. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back by then. All going well. Fingers crossed. Anyway, Reece has just come back again. I would look. Hannibal on loan from Man United, who was at Blues last year. Yes, I was quite. Now, was that the guy who was involved in Hamer when he got sent off?
That's the guy I really hate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm his biggest fan. I think he's a brilliant footballer, but I feel like he's one of those that he's brilliant and he knows, like, he's got an attitude. That's the vibe I'm getting from him. But Robbins has that impact on changing people's attitudes, especially when they're playing for us.
Yeah.
So I think it could be good, but I don't want him to be one of those that would ruin the training environment, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, he might not do,
but Robbins did well to calm Hamer down, didn't he? I mean, that was his last. Obviously, he got sent off that game. He never got booked again after that for a very long time, did he? I think he obviously had a few words with Robbins and told him to, calm down and sort yourself out and cut all these bookings out. And to be fair to him, he did, didn't he? He hardly got booked. I don't think he did. He got booked later on in the season, but it was a long time after that sending off.
Wasn't it a decision where it probably wasn't even a yellow? Was it that? It was one.
I think it was actually. Yeah.
It was the ref
with a good tackle, wasn't
stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. But up until then, his record was fantastic. I don't know what Robin said to him, but obviously, he's getting yellows. He seemed to be getting yellows every week, didn't he? And in suspensions, and we couldn't afford to have him sitting out 2 and 3 game suspensions all the time. And it was a struggle. I think Robin said that to him. Look, we need you on the pitch. You need to sort yourself out, and fair play to him. He did do that.
Yeah, I think he made it clear that he's a key player.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think they've got a good relationship there. So, that's why I think maybe it's. I just got a funny feeling the longer it goes on, the more he will stay. Claudio, will Keith be wearing better gear when he comes over, because I'll be giving him a lift dressed like that?
Well, apart from the hat, this is me work gear. Sorry, guys.
All right, okay. Well, I think you look okay, mate. Yeah, no problem. Claudio likes it anyway. I've got one from Glenn. Do we play Sheaf, Eccles and Hamer as a 3 and then bring Palmer on second half? I don't know. What would you reckon?
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I'd rather start Palmer, wouldn't you? Then bring him on.
That'd be nice.
Well, I'd say I wouldn't start all 3 of them, because you want at least one of them to be one of your super subs, I guess. So what is it saying that Eccles is playing Cam or Hamer's playing? Well, obviously, I'm guessing Hamer's playing Cam there, right?
Yeah, and then bring on.
Yeah, no. I'd have Palmer or Sakamoto, the Japanese king, playing Cam. So either Sakamoto or Palmer, or and then maybe even drop in. I was gonna say Van Eyck, but he's a right wing back, isn't he? I'm very curious about wing backs trying Cam, because especially Van Eyck's pace, it'd be but then you need him bombing down the line, not down the middle. So
without doubt.
I'll just stick with Sheaf and Hamer, and then Palmer and Cam.
How about you, Keith? Would you do the same, or would you change it midfield?
I don't know. I mean, we haven't thus far. We haven't done an awful lot, but I mean, is that a fault of the midfield or the defence? I mean, we start talking about formations. I mean, Robbins likes his sort of 3 at the back with his 2 wing backs. I mean, should we look to change that and go back to a sort of more traditional formation? And who was it played last weekend they had a 2-3-2-3 formation. I mean, you know,
Did they? Who was that?
I
Yeah.
can't remember who that was. I heard it on TV. I was sort of watching a game, but yeah, I thought,
2-3.
wow, that's a bit
Interesting.
bit after lunch, but I think it seemed to work for them. Who was it? It was a championship game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, yeah, midweek.
Okay, be interesting to see who that was. But yeah, well, Robbins has been known to change now and again. He does revert back to a back four sometimes, doesn't he? Depending on who we're playing, I suppose. I've known him go back to 4-2 on occasions, but it all depends on who we're playing, doesn't it? That's the problem. I don't think he'll do that on Saturday. I think on Saturday against Middlesbrough, he'll stick basically to what he knows best with the wing backs. Personally, I think that's what he'll do. I can't see him. I can't see him changing tactics from Middlesbrough, especially if we've played. We've played Middlesbrough recently, obviously 3 times in the, played them in the league, and then we had the 2 semi-finals against them in the playoffs, and we've done well against them, to be honest, didn't we? So I don't think he'll change it too much there. How do you see the game going then on Saturday, Keith? How do you think? It looks like it might be a full house, which is fantastic. There's not many seats left.
I'd like to think it's a full house. The 12th man will work wonders for us. I mean, I was there for the Middlesbrough game in October last year, and we won 1-0. The next game I saw was QPR. We won 2-0. But yeah, I mean, I'll take a win of any sort, to be honest with you. We've got the capability to do it. Play to our strengths. I think we should win. We'll win.
Yeah, you're quite confident.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because they sold one of their star players, didn't they? So, I think they
did.
Struggling to come back.
They lost. They lost their first game of the season at home to Millwall, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
I know that they won their cup game, but they haven't been on fire to start with. They're a bit like us. They haven't had a great start, but they've obviously got some good players, and they will. I think they probably will be up there come the end of the season, or in and around certainly the playoff positions. But I think we'll win on. I think we'll win on Saturday. Will, you still there?
Yeah, I was just having a look through the seating there because I saw a comment earlier. I saw a comment earlier asking about full house. Oh, there you go. Joe put full house this Saturday. It really annoys me. I was just looking through there. You know how you've got a block and there's one seat that hasn't been bought?
Yeah.
It gets on my nerves. It's just like, please sit there so it grays out. It's just a tiny thing.
Well, it's
yeah, no,
nobody will buy it unless it's on their own.
I know, yeah, it's annoying, yeah. Yeah, just someone please sit there. If you're watching this and you haven't got your ticket yet, just sit in the seat that's on its own in the lot, please.
And another thing I was going to bring up about seating. I personally think we give too many too many free rows for segregation. I think the segregation at the CBS is way too expansive. It don't need to be that big. Certainly from the grounds we've been to this season, at Leicester there was only a couple of rows, weren't there? And then there's a row of stewards and police. There was hardly any segregation. That's a local derby, so I don't know why we quite need like rows and rows and rows of seats with a black canvas over as segregation, when really we could probably half that, or even just have a couple of rows of stewards in between. But that's just a thought of mine. And they can sell more tickets, because that does annoy me a bit that we do tend to have a lot of segregation at the CBS, whether it's the concourses underneath and the exits and entrances that might cause a problem. I don't know, but it does certainly seem that way. Have you noticed that, Will? I mean, you've been to a lot of the away games as well with us. The segregation away from home is nowhere near like ours, is it, at home?
No, I'd say Leicester was probably the best example of that. And maybe I'd probably say Middlesbrough as well. I mean, for the playoff semi-final, they had barely anything between us. It was like a little bit of tarp. It wasn't even like what we do. We have a ridiculous amount, and it's so unnecessary. Just seats that are
And they're
filled
all
up for no
inside.
reason. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think the club are forgetting that right there, that they're covered over, is money, because they
Yeah.
could be getting that,
Yeah.
but they've covered it over.
Very
But
bizarre.
yeah, like I think Keno's put about crowd safety risks. They brought in horses for Saturday at cost to the club. No need. I
No
don't know
need
why
for
there's
horses.
horses
And
for
so,
that.
I believe Middlesbrough only bring in 2. We were hoping to speak to a Middlesbrough pod, but I don't.
She
turned up yet.
disappeared. She was there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, she might have something on. She might have disappeared, but we were hoping to talk to her. But I believe they're only bringing about 2,000. They haven't sold their allocation. So,
oh dear, small club.
Then I mean, they bought obviously to the semi-final. They bought a lot more, but I'm surprised at that. I thought they would have sold their allocation. Certainly, start of the season, good weather in August. It's reasonably, it's not too cold. I can understand.
That's a good excuse to. That's a good excuse to uncover some of them seats, isn't it? I mean, if they're only using a couple of thousand, then that's more for us, isn't it? Surely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I don't know. We'll have to get somebody from the club on to explain the situation there. Why they have to have Doug would be nice if he comes on to explain the situation and why they need to have so many seats covered up. It may be a police thing, it may be a health and safety. They might have told them they can't sell that. The club might be told they're not allowed to sell them. We don't know. I suppose different areas, different rules. I suppose, but it just seemed quite bizarre that a lot of the other clubs we go to when we go to away matches have hardly got any segregation at all between us and the away fan, and the home fans, compared to the CBS. So
I mean, Wayne's put here, isn't it, down to the police? I think he's got a point there. To be fair, I think the police have the main. They have the main say.
They do. Although at some games, there's not always police in the ground. Sometimes the police, they have to pay for police to come in, extra police to come in the ground, and the police are outside, and they have more stewards inside. It all depends who we're playing, I suppose.
So, what is it with all these stewards anyway? There's so many of them. They could actually light up the world. There's that many high vises. You wouldn't even need electricity.
There is a lot of stewards. I don't know whether they need so many. There must be rules and regulations where they do need so many in. They're cheaper to pay than the police are. Obviously, if they've got police in the ground, they're paying top dollar. Whereas they can get a steward in and they can play for half the price. That's all down to money, I believe. So that's when we play teams like probably, teams like small, like Plymouth, for example. I don't know how many fans Plymouth will bring. We may not need that many police available. I don't know. Or
I think Plymouth will bring quite a lot. I mean,
they probably will.
Before
their first game, but I'm just giving an example. Yeah.
I was going to say because before I came here, when the City were playing away, I've got a few work friends in Milton Keynes. I'd go and watch Plymouth play. They've got a die-hard bunch of supporters. They have.
Fans are brilliant.
Yeah. And to be honest, they probably will bring. A lot of them will be their first visit to Coventry, so they probably will bring quite a few. Probably fans haven't probably been there for a lot of them haven't been there, and it's their first season back in the Championship for a while, so they probably will bring a few. But if we play, lesser teams like for example, say in the cup, like MK Dons, for example, when we went to MK Dons the other week, we had more fans. We were the away team. We had more fans than their home fans. And it was crazy, wasn't it, Will? We had a little pocket of home fans, and the whole massive. How big a stadium MK Dons is.
Isn't that the norm for them though? Because I swear there was a game on Sky, it might have been last year now, and it was MK Dons, and we were looking. I think me and my dad might have been watching it, and there was just barely any MK Dons fans. And it just had all these black seats everywhere, and like a small.
I just don't think they've got that many.
So
yeah, they've got a very, very small supporter base. So,
but
and they played, unfortunately,
that's what people thought of us when we barely brought anyone. Like we're having attendances of 3,000 every week. Like we come.
I don't think it's as bad as that. I don't think it's as bad as MK Dons, and they've got a very small supporter base. They're small supporter base anyway. I think. I just don't think they've got that many fans, and unfortunately, they're playing in a massive stadium, so it shows up.
Yeah, they got a nice ground.
Worse, doesn't it? They got a lovely ground, and it's a Premiership really ground, isn't it? Fit for a Premier League team, but and it shows up a lot more when you got very little fans in there. So it is a little bit embarrassing sometimes, I suppose, when they play at home when there's not many fans in there. Anyway, right, time's getting on. I don't think we'll be able to talk to the Middlesbrough pod. Unfortunately, we have lost her somewhere. I don't know where, but we'll get to predictions now. She didn't want. Your dad's not here, so he's not. She said, "Right, no, I'm not coming on." Miles is not here.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is, by the way. Yeah, we haven't seen him. So
no, he hasn't even come in my room and like tried to jump in on the stream. He's just.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he'd come up and join you.
Yeah, I thought he'd come in and ruin it all.
Mind. Yeah. Never mind. Let's get some predictions then for Saturday. 12 o'clock, 12 kickoff this time. It's early kickoff. Middlesbrough at home. Let's go, Keith. What do you think? Give me a prediction score.
Let's be daring. We'll get an early goal and we'll win 3-1.
3-1. Well, can you put that in an email? You put that in an email to info@skybluefanstv.com. You'll go in the draw. Yeah, or down the bottom.
I'll go for that.
You'll go. You could win a new shirt, and we'll post it out to you. Or you can get it when you come over. We probably won't be in stock until you come over anyway in November.
That's probably right. Yeah.
But yeah, if you can enter it, feel free to enter. You can get a shirt yourself. If it is that score. If you're the only one, obviously you win it. If there is more than one winner, you go into a draw, and then we draw a lucky winner out on Sunday's show.
But I'm supposed to pick it.
Sorry? No, there might be a few more. There's a lot of emails been coming in over the last few days. So
it and gone to the pub.
All right.
Score. Well, I've just said Claudio's put 0-0. David Collins has gone 3-1. If we play what they did against Millwall, you'll have no problems. 3-1 Coventry, methinks. Man, every time I make a prediction, we lose, or we just draw. So
predict us to lose then.
No, because I don't want to say. I don't want to say that we're going to lose. It's wrong.
They'll get a lot of stick.
I can't say my own team's going to lose.
Well, it's going to be a win-win then, isn't it?
I'm going to cross my fingers and say that the score will be 2-0 Cov.
2-0 Cov. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
I think what the comments saying. Amy said 1-1. Covanny said 2-1. Glenn's saying 1-0. Jake Plays says 2-1, and David Collins is saying Atpom's injured. There we go.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, all those people who put in scores on here, make sure you email them in.
Yeah.
Email them in. Get in the draw
At the bottom.
for the new shirt. You can win yourself a shirt. At the bottom, the address is at the bottom.
Yeah.
info@skybluefanstv.com with your prediction, with your name, with your details. And if you are the only one with that scoreline, then you win it. If not, you go into a draw and you could get your name pulled out, and you could win a new shirt for the coming season when they arrive. That is, when they arrive. Now, score for me, I think we will win. I think we will get back to winning ways on Saturday, first win of the season. And I think we're going to win 3-1. I think we'll have our shooting boots on. Godden will get a couple, and Hadji to actually score.
Hadji right
as well. So I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 Cov. So there you go. So we're all going for home win. So we're all quite confident it's going to happen, and hopefully it will. You know, we've had 2 defeats on the trot, which we weren't expecting. Certainly, you know, the first one where we played really well at Leicester, and I thought we deserved something out of it. And they're a good side. You know, they're going to be up there at the end of the season. So to have got a win there would have been brilliant, but it just didn't happen for us. But, you know, we just got to carry on. It's a new team. We are gelling together. So we've got to be patient and just trust Mark Robbins with the team he picks, and trust that the players are going to gel together and hopefully get that first 3 points in the bag. Any more comments before we go, Will?
But no, that's it. Apart from
That it?
I put them up early about Simon Wells says 3-1 and Mark Cunningham says 2-1.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Okay.
everyone's going for us to win.
Well, that's good. That's good. I mean, that's good news. Get yourself in the draw. Should be plenty of entries in the competition this week. I think we'll win. I think we'll get a performance on Saturday, and we'll certainly will get the goals. It'd be nice on Sky as well to get a nice victory and show everybody that we're back to form. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Keith, I want to thank you very much for joining us all the way from Canada.
Thank you, Keith.
No problem. Thank you, gentlemen.
And look forward to meeting you maybe when you come over in November.
I look forward to that. Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, come down, Dylan. Come down to Dylan's Brewery. We're normally down there doing a live stream before every home match.
Myles interviewed me last November, so it'll be another good session.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's good down there. It's good.
Feel
good
bad for
on
you.
match day. We'll be down there, by the way, this Saturday. Myles will be down there. I'll be down there. We'll be down there. We'll all be down there on Saturday morning for a live stream. Our second live stream. We had one on Wednesday night against Wimbledon. First home live stream of the season, live from the brewery. We'll be on there probably about, I don't know, be on there about 11 o'clock-ish probably, Will, something like that. It's an early start, so get your breakfast done and get down there. I look forward to seeing you all down there. And Will, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it.
What am I guest to you now? Is this what we're doing?
Yeah.
Am I guest?
Well, yeah. Thank you for coming on. Yeah. I don't know where your dad was. I'll just say thank you. Thank you to your dad for disappearing. I don't know where he's gone.
I'll just take his role now.
But anyway, yeah, you took his role. You did well tonight. So thanks very much for stepping in.
Thank you.
Anyway, look, thanks for all the comments tonight. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be live. Our live stream again will be on the Saturday morning, live from the brewery, and our next live program will be on Sunday evening, where we're going to review, hopefully, a victory against Middlesbrough on Saturday, where we'll also announce the winner of our competition if you've got the correct score. Just a reminder, info@skybluefanstv.com with your scoreline, with your name. Get it on now, send it now while you remember, and get it in the hat to try and win a new shirt for the new season. That's it. Thank you very much. Good night, and take care, everybody.
And don't forget to subscribe to Sky Blue Fans TV, follow our Twitter, follow our Instagram, follow the TikTok. It's all in the link down below, and we'll see you in the next live stream. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks, Will.